This is Blackjacked, a podcast about how the civil rights movement went left.
Oh man, I gotta get up. I gotta go. Ooh. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta get up and go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta get up and go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blackjack Podcast. I want to start this episode by saying sometimes I get it wrong, and sometimes I have blind spots, and sometimes I just don't do the best job at this. And I'm actually okay with that. I'm okay being called out, and I got called out this week. And so I wanted to take some time to look at how I was called out and where I'm maybe not hitting the mark as great as I could. Last week I put out an episode. It was called The Artificial Elevation of Dr. King. And I was just basically making the argument that, as great as Dr. King is and as much as we admire him, the elevated place in history is somewhat artificial and I think intentional, right? I think because the white press really elevated this person, the white establishment sort of, got around him and said, okay, we can sort of elevate this person. We have sort of been looking to Dr. King and at least the Dr. King that they give us to say, this is, these are the marching orders. This is what we should be doing. And that's actually problematic to a degree. So I talked about that and somebody called me out. I thought they were really nice about it. I thought they were really cool about it, but they left a comment on YouTube. They actually saw the video on YouTube. I want to read some of this because I actually thought it was really good. And I actually replied to let them know, I appreciate the discipline. I appreciate that you called me out and sort of helped me see something a little more clearly. But the guy says this, and I quote, "When looking at the civil rights movement critically, I think it is important to understand that Black people did not have a blueprint to go from." He goes on, and I quote, "There was nothing in history we could use as a blueprint where a numerically displaced people that are far from their home and had their language wiped out could use. We are an aberration in history." That is fascinating to me. And as I go through these different episodes, I do try to be cognizant to point out the impossible situation that people are in. I try to really look at, okay, here's the type of racial violence and terror that they were living under, which we cannot even comprehend in 2024. So it sounds simple. Oh, just do this. Well, yeah, if you want your whole family killed, sure, right? I try to, be cognizant of that. I try to look at the mental constraints that people had, even if it were theoretically possible to do something. I think we have to appreciate the mental constraints. But this point is even different. I mean, this guy is saying, yo, you realize they did not even have a blueprint for this. You are having people putting them in an impossible situation, which there is no reference point in American history at all. So, for example, Malcolm X, he does this speech. It's called Message to the Grassroots. It's worth listening to. And he talks about this. He says, of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. Of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward our research. And what he's getting at is like any problem that you have in history, in the world, any problem that you have in your life, in your community, look to history as a guide. How did other people deal with this? And then you'll know what to do. And I think that's true. However, I think there's a limit to that because this person who commented, they're right. There is no blueprint in history for this. There's not. And I think people miss that when they try to, say, well, what's the problem and why can't you, And yes, as someone who comes from the slavery experience in America, my people were enslaved in this country. Even with Black immigrants, sometimes this gets sticky. There are Black immigrants and, I'm not saying all, but yes, we've had some of these encounters where people come to this country and say, what's the problem? What's wrong with you all? And I think sometimes they fail to appreciate if you are Jamaican, yes, there was slavery. And yes, some people did some bad things to you, but they left, right? They actually left. They physically left. Yeah, a couple of them, hung back a little bit. If you are from West Africa and you have a country that was colonized, at a certain point, you still are the majority. Like you numerically hold it down. You have that opportunity. Yes, there's neocolonialism. Yes, these people meddle with your financial affairs. Yes, I don't discount any of that. But the fact remains, you did not have a situation where your oppressor and the terrorizers of your people, you had to literally sit there day after day in their living room. Like imagine if you had to live in their living room and they're ruling over you with a gun to your head, hanging you from trees. Like Any policy or any financial, regulation that was imposed upon you, it was imposed from someone somewhere else, right? They were not sitting there with the gun to your head doing this. I think people fail to appreciate that. This has not been done. So Dr. King, he and Bayard Rustin and other movement leaders, they look at Gandhi and nonviolence as a solution. Let's look at this movement that Gandhi led in India. Yes, but the British left. It wasn't like the British stayed there and said, "Okay, I guess we'll act right a little bit, but we're still here and we still run it and we are still going to terrorize you every single day." There's no blueprint for this, people. And so this person is right. These people are in an impossible situation where they don't have a historical reference point. Look at Haiti. Haiti is somewhat, and I can appreciate this, that a friend really wanted to hammer this. Haiti is exceptional in the sense that Haiti has been terrorized like few places. This is a French colony. It is the richest jewel in the French imperial crown. This is the island that produces coffee and sugar. We think of Haiti as being so poor. That was not what the situation was back in the day. Napoleon was very careful to hold on to Haiti at all costs, even when the French got rid of a whole bunch of other places in this hemisphere. They kept Haiti. Well, the problem here is you have 500,000 black slaves, 30 to 40,000 colonial white population. Well, what could possibly go wrong here? And so there's this uprising led by, of course, Toussaint Louverture, and he's just whooping Napoleon's butt. And so, they get rid of the French. But they've been punished every day since. Every day. The French obviously are mad, and so they put this indemnity on them. And so this really leads to their poverty today. They're like, yeah, you owe us all this money and whatever. You have the Americans getting upset with them because, of course, we cannot tolerate black folks throwing off the shackles of slavery. And so Thomas Jefferson puts a blockade on Haiti. You have Woodrow Wilson storming the parliament and kicking everyone out at gunpoint because they dare vote the wrong way to not let American corporations just control everything. You look at what Citigroup has done over there. I mean, just on and on and on. However, if you're to find a distinction, they left, right? So yes, it is nearly impossible for them to build, but they're not dealing with the day-to-day terror of these people in your face. This is different. This is unique. This is a different animal in American history that has existed nowhere else practically. It's particularly with the level of brutality, the level of just, nonstop, ongoing violence. Every single policy and custom is targeted at you. And by the way, you're doing it in my face. I'm literally have to sit in your living room, in your kitchen as you do all this. This is different. And I think as I go through this, as I, go week to week, episode to episode, I want to do a better job. Again, I'm trying. Like, I'm really, please believe me, there's no part of me that's trying to be disrespectful to our elders. I'm just simply saying, in the same way that you go out, you play every Sunday as a football team, you give it your all, you give it your best. But come Monday or Tuesday, you watch the film, you want to see what happened and look at, okay, is there room for improvement? Is there somewhere that we can look at what we did and figure out, okay, how can we do this better? Is there a better strategy to employ? And mostly, it's not that I'm looking to critique people in the past and say, look at you, what you did wrong, because obviously they have all these limitations. And even if you can find strategic flaws, and I try to look at, okay, were there missed opportunities, strategic flaws, the conditions just aren't the same. And we have to appreciate that. And I try to do that. And I don't do, the best job every week. I don't. I'm human. I'm flawed. And I appreciate this person for pointing that out. But what I'm trying to do is speak to us today and say, we don't have those limitations. We are not going to get lynched for participating in civil disobedience or boycott. We're not. As a rule, could it happen? Sure. We see lynchings, whether it be through the police or whatever. And by the way, most lynching was through the police. Okay, we always talk about the Ku Klux Klan. If you look at American history, the number of black people killed by the Klan is child's play compared to the police. You didn't need a Klan. You had a police. You didn't need a Klan. The Klan is like something that comes on later in American history, but you didn't need it all that time. So this is not the same. And so I need people to understand that, particularly if you're an immigrant to this country, you're coming from a place that, had its challenges from colonialism, slavery, wherever it might be, but they left. And let's just be candid about this. They left and you left too. You left too because our immigration system is such that we're not letting the poorest people in Ghana come here or the people living in the ghettos and huts. That's not what's happening. We're letting people who have skills that are useful. We're letting people who generally have some level of privilege already. And so you come here with that, with your knowledge, with your expertise, probably have a skill that's in demand. And so, yeah, there's a certain pathway that descendants of slavery in this country have created for you. And I think there should be some acknowledgement of that and reverence for that. But it's not the same thing. And so when we look at whether it be Malcolm X or Dr. King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Joanne Robinson, all these beautiful people, Ella Baker in Black history, they're doing the best that they can, but the circumstances are such that they don't have a blueprint for this. They don't have any, existing route, and they're trying to figure it out. And I think we need to have, and I need to have more grace for that.
I gotta get up and go. I gotta get up and leave. I gotta get up and go. I gotta go. I gotta get up and go. They waiting on me when I walk out the door. They counting on me to get ready to blow. Too many people saying that I'm the hero. Too many people looking up to me. Can't let them down, not an option for me. Don't even matter if you rocking with me. I touch down even if you ain't blocking for me. No BS and no negativity. Only dealing with positive energy. Yeah, it's haters and doubters surrounding me. I don't pay them no man, they ain't stopping me. Like Brady and Jordan on top of me. I'm MVP in every category. My confidence grows every day that I rise. Gotta get up and go, keep my eye on the prize. I gotta go, manifesting on my hopes and dreams. I gotta go, yo, I'm strategizing like I'm coaching the team. I got places to go, I got people to see, I got things to do. Yo, I'm through with surviving, it's time to start living, I don't know about you. That's what I see for myself, speak over my life, I got riches and wealth. Take it in stride one day at a time, no malice inside, I'm nothing but blessed.